of the delegation of the European Parliament.
Humanitarian assistance is only a stopgap measure. Our manifesto recognizes that an estimated 2 million households, that is 1 in 6, are food poor. The vast majority of these are farmers. We believe that support to farmers to raise productivity would not only enable them to feed themselves, but also generate a surplus that contributes to national food security and the economy. Some of these farmers are in our arid and semi-arid regions, where the main production systems are livestock keeping and mixed farming. We are therefore taking proactive action to put in place long-term measures that will address the challenges posed by cyclic droughts. For instance, we have committed to build a mixture of 1,000 dams and ponds across the country over the next several years. It's not a one-year program, but it has to be spread out through public-private partnerships to increase food production. The additional 13 million euro, that is about 1.7 billion Kenya shillings grant under the Dryland Climate Action for Community Drought Relief Project, which we are launching today, will significantly enhance resilience of our communities to drought and other effects of climate change. We therefore will honor our commitment under the grant contract to contribute a further 5 million euros, that is about Kenya shillings 650 million, as counterpart funding for the project. We will also ensure that additional funds are used prudently, that these funds are used prudently and for the sole purpose of ensuring our vulnerable communities cope with the impacts of drought and climate change. Drought can be very dehumanizing. It breeds poverty, and there is no dignity in poverty. So as we fight drought, we are also bringing dignity to these communities. We need to really continue pulling together.
We have also said that we cannot work in isolation. So Kenya needs to work together with the other countries that are hit by the drought and build a structural response that goes beyond the country, that is looking at an integrated response. And we all know that this is not a drought as any other. This is a drought that has been made much worse by climate change, and we will probably never go back to where we were before. So we have to look at permanent, sustainable livelihoods in the ASAL counties and the ASAL region for the future. And there are already some innovative programs and projects in the ASALs, even already making to use the carbon credit mechanisms. So this is already ongoing, it just needs to be scaled up. So there are many possibilities that we are exploring even beyond the support to NDMA. And we are happy that the government is taking this strong stance now in the fight against climate change and drought. And I hope that the other countries in the region will join you for that, So you have a very strong, unified voice that is also building support of the international community. That's why I'm so happy that we have our members of the European Parliament here today, so they can hear firsthand what is happening in the country and what Kenya is doing about it. The EU has been a long-standing partner of the Asals. We are very much aware that the Asals are the majority of the landmass of Kenya. And there is a sizable proportion of the population living in the Asals. And historically, the Asals have been left behind. And what is happening now is just shedding a light over this historic inequality. And as the head of the World Bank here in Kenya is always pointing out, there's no country in the world that reached upper middle income status without addressing its inequalities. So that's why it is so important for Kenya to look at this in a structured and systemic way.
This event today is testament to the deep and meaningful friendship Kenya enjoys with the European Union. And the drought Kenya has encountered in recent years has greatly affected food security of our communities, especially those living in arid and semi-arid areas. The challenges this situation has caused have awakened us to new realities that are now reference points on what we should do not to find ourselves in the same spot again. I am glad that the Dryland Climate Action for Community Drought Resilience project is provided strengthening, and it has also increased NDMA's capacity to drive ending drought emergency innovations and stakeholder-led coordination. I believe that this action will bring us closer to our goal of ending drought emergencies in Kenya.